to all our members. Um, Mahendra Rajwade is a test lead in the banking domain with over a decade of experience across multiple industries, ensuring the quality and reliability of large-scale digital products. He has led cross-functional team to deliver and maintain systems with a strong focus on risk, compliance, and customer experience. Mahendra has been a keynote speaker at an international conference on machine learning and deep learning in healthcare, responsible and AI, and for the annual Digital Health Hub Foundation Digital Health Award 2025. He holds certification in AI for organizational leaders, Databricks generative AI, and building AI products, referring to responsible applied AI in real-world settings. Mahendra is currently pursuing an MBA at the University of Louisville, Kentucky, and his today's topic is evolution on AI and application. So with this, Rajwade sir, floor is yours. You are already aware maybe, but still I want to let you know you had 20-25 minutes to talk. And after
Sure.
that, we will open the floor to ask questions if member any questions. So again, welcome. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Don't call me Sahib. Just call me Mahendra. That's fine. All right. Would you like give me the access for sharing the screen? Can you make a co-host for me?
Yes, Dada, you have access. Please go ahead.
Okay. Let me share my screen. I do not actually. I'll send a request.
Are you able to see share button at the bottom?
Yeah, I do not have access to. Okay, I have now. Thank you.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, got it. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we are able to see your screen now. Thank you.
Okay. So as you know that I've been working in the IT industry for so many years. First of all, thank you very much for being on the call, and Jai Bhim, everybody. My name is Mahendra, and I've been working in the IT industry for a few decades now. I like to learn new technologies along the way. I'm currently based out of Louisville, and working remotely with the Capital One as an end-to-end test lead. Been responsible for many applications along the way, and learn technologies wherever possible, learn new ideas, certified in various cloud technologies and Databricks and other areas, which is related to now the evolving technologies, what we call it as an artificial intelligence. But I would certainly like to take you back to the history where we started, or where the journey started for artificial intelligence. So right now, everybody talks about, we have the artificial intelligence of doing this. With many problems are solved with the AI. We will have robots, everything. But to understand the basics, will simplify how much we have progressed along the way. So what we will talk about today is I'm taking you back to almost 85 years ago, what happened and where it started. So earlier to the telephone, we had something called as a telegram. I don't know many of you have seen it or not, but there used to be a post office. In the post office, somebody has to send a message, then there is a separate code which comes in, and the postmaster will have a code book. He will run through the code book and receive the codes and manage it. And there's no sound. It is just something like a typewriter, and you understand based upon the codes which you received, what is the name of the person, what is the message, and who is the sender. And then the postmaster will come to your place and he will deliver you the message. So that is the earliest what I can remember of. But let's go back to the 1940s and let's see what happened. So during the World War II, specifically, this technology got evolved quite a bit. The reasoning was, how do we move the military or the forces to tackle and overtake another country? So that was the concept they invented to overcome the military to rule the other countries, and it got to the extent that in the World War II it was used heavily. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about how the term got into the artificial intelligence in the Dartmouth conference, which happened in the New Hampshire, and John McCarthy, who come out with this particular term. And then we will talk about how the decades progressed and how we are currently today. So we talk about the decades because we cannot talk about the entire history in the next 20-25 minutes. So let's take a deep dive to the next slide. So what happened during the World War II? The Alan Turing. So the movement of troops from one place to another has to be planned and has to be communicated to the troop. What is their current status? Is there any risk? So all that communication has to happen very secretively. So when the German had a system called Enigma, and Enigma was a machine which had the multiple wheels within it, which will correlate when you press a single button, and the similar pattern has to be at the other end. And unless and until you have the correct codes, you will not be able to interpret the message. So Alan Turing was a mathematician, and he broke away. He get into the identification of how the code's getting translated and how we should understand the message. So he come out with something called as a bomb machine, BOMBE. That's a machine that he invented, and then he said, okay, let's try to do the permutation and combinations of the probability of the message being sent out, or what the message has been released from one end to another end, and this is specific words they might correlate. Okay, these are the words they are commonly used in Germany when they translate the message. Based upon that, they will the machine was structured with the probability of the message getting translated correctly. So that is what the invention that the Alan Turing had made. Based upon that, McCulloch and Pets, they come up with the binary threshold neurons. It basically came out with the biological terms. When they learned about the biological neurons, the protein structure, they try to correlate those particular messages from point one to point B, how they can be translated and decrypted. So the entire AI foundation was based upon the encryption and decryption of the message. So when a message is sent, it has to be sent in an encrypted way, and the person who receives it has to able to understand what the encryption level is, and then it has to decrypt, and then we know the message, what the message is. So at the Dartmouth conference, John McCarthy presented a paper based upon the neurons and the neural networks. And then he said, okay, now this is what we could be using as an artificial intelligence with the caveat that the person who is going to be using this as an artificial intelligence, it's just the concept that we will apply to a machine and give them the intelligence. It will not be able to take the decision on itself, but it will work in a way that it will try to identify the moments of what the next moment could be. So possibly a little bit of more into the probabilistic of the messaging system with the encryption and decryption process. The very next year, Frank Rosenwald created a perceptron, and that was the first machine learning model. So then they said, okay, now we have the patterns, right? We have the patterns that when a message is sent, we know the recipient's name. There is a heading called the recipient's name. There is a bottom, the sender's name, and then there is an in-between message. So and usually there's a greetings, right? So greetings, we know the greetings from one country to another country, what the message has to be. And based upon that, they said, okay, now this is our database. And based upon that, we can try to interpret the alphabets in between. And that was the kind of a machine learning model they were trying to create with the use of perceptron. So this is kind of a decade they spent on investigating, trying to learn, so this is all mathematicians, scientists, some of the biological scientists. So they all teamed up and created some kind of pattern recognition methodology, which is more into the machine learning process. So let's move on to the next one. In the next 10 years, what happened? So in 1966, Joseph Weisenberg developed ELIZA. So in a very essentially, what he said is, okay, if I say X, the machine should respond me Y. Or if I say A, the machine should respond me B. So they started working on that because they wanted to see if what is this. He was basically a, a, a psychotherapist, and he wanted to understand that if I ask a person this question, he will respond this. If I ask a person this question, he's going to respond this. So he tried to correlate those, and he tried to create a chatbot very much what we have today with the chatbots that we face. But it was very basic, that he had certain set of questions and he had certain set of answers that was expected out of the machine. So it's kind of it gives a fascination to the dialogue. It gives the impression that somebody is talking to you when you say something, even when it's not a human being. And in 1969, there was a robot created by Shaki. There was created by SRI, and then Shaki was the first mobile robot for reasoning out what exactly is the coming out of that interpretation. Moving on, when the dendral or the mycin systems, they use this particular knowledge in understanding what is the data running behind the systems, what is the outcome, what we are probability. So it's based upon the probability of getting a correct response when somebody asks the question. And this is more evolved with the dendral and mycin. And then there was a period that, okay, now we had some kind of economical disruptions where everything kind of slowed down. People did not talk about anymore about artificial intelligence. They talk about the regular systems. They had the economic downturn, and they were more focused upon the everybody's day and day night rather than focusing on the technology. So in 1970s, it's kind of slowed down everything. There was no momentum across the R&D about the the AI. In 1980s, though, in 1980s decade, it started back again. So um, XCon and DEC, they started working on the automating the processes. So they started to look into the systems where they can implement this artificial intelligence into the industrial development applications, like how we can run the machineries by itself, how we can do some kind of robots or robotic functions by giving them the data, giving them the inputs. So in 1982, Japan made a very substantial upgraded hardware, because until now we were all reluctant of not having a, a, a correct hardware to process the technologies of because we have the large data set, we have the inputs, we are converting into zeros and ones. So semiconductor industries, semiconductor evolution did not happen until then. So Japan came out with a lot of research, and they said, okay, we will take the lead in running the AI models in the industrial area. So Jeffrey Hinton, um, who is considered the father of AI now, he started working on the neural networks, and he started working on the multi-layer perceptrons. His initial research, although wasn't supported by his professors, he was said, okay, they did not believe that this could happen. They could be multi-layer perceptrons. They processed, he who was reluctant on, of still processing those, that this can be applicable, this will be used for, this technology can be used for future. So he still worked on that. He changed his professions, he changed his universities. He worked throughout the 1980s, 1990s. So even though there were a lot of efforts put in that particular decade, again in 1990s, it's kind of slowed down everybody. There was not much of focus given to the AI and the initiated technologies. So this is where we see that people move away from the technologies from time to time, and because this research and development needs a lot of money, a lot of funding to put in for the sponsorships, because we don't know the end results and we still have to put in the efforts. So it was not profitable for anybody because they wouldn't see much of benefit out of it. So in 1990s, although people started looking into the gamings, we started to work on the vector machines. There was the theory for the decision trees, how we can seamlessly integrate the data, how we can see how we can use the data to understand and use it in the way that the machine can understand and gives the proper response. So IBM was heading the research in this particular area, and they said, okay, we will have a system which is called the Deep Blue, and what is the first thing that it can be used upon? So okay, so we will teach the system all the moves of chess, which is a game which is kind of more in the limelight that area in that decade. So we'll focus on that, and we'll try to teach all the moves what most people will take, and the final decision is to make sure the opponent is defeated. So Gary Kasparov was the champion that time, and Deep Blue was developed by IBM to make sure whatever moves he makes, the Deep Blue is able to counteract and give him a checkmate. So that was a strategical development which is designed and developed in that system. In the same time, we also developed this speech recognition where we try to understand the systems like the prompting when you call the system, when you call a support center, or you call a doctor's office, or you call the telephone service provider. There was a understanding of speech recognition. So somebody's talking, that means it's a human being talking, so it used to respond. So it was introduced during the 1990s. Sony indeed came up with the AIBO, which is more of a small entertainment robot, which will talk about the interaction. It will just kind of give a funny stories to you. It will respond to you in a funny way so that you can enjoy the conversation. However, it was not in much sense of any useful purpose that point in time. In 2000 and onwards is when companies started. So by that time, the technology has evolved. We had a lot of companies got into picture. We got Microsoft, we got Google, we got all the hardware companies, Intel. So infrastructure was there. People were progressing on software development. People were progressing upon making new applications, and there was a lot of data being circulated everywhere. So we had mainframes to consume the data. We had different databases like Oracle and other areas where the data was available in a structured way. And all that data then got, okay, now we have the data. We have some technology which was explored earlier. Can we reuse it? And in 2000, the first implementation was done by the fintech organizations, and because they had a lot of money to invest, and they said, okay, we will implement these technologies. We have data. We'll try to use it, and we'll try to see how we can make benefit out of this. So they expedited the process, and in 2004 and 2005, there was autonomous vehicles. They were introduced during the desert. In the desert, they try to see, okay, whether it is able to identify the obstacles, it is able to identify the stones, it is able to identify the pits along the way. So that is one of the challenge they were able to overcome in that duration. Again, Jeffrey Hinton came into picture in 2006. They come up with the unsupervised pre-training methods. Now, in the deep learning, we have the neural networks, we have the supervised learning, we have the unsupervised learning, and then we have the regenerative learning. So based upon these models, he said, okay, let me go ahead with the unsupervised pre-training methods. And then he laid the foundation for a next level of research. During the same time, Google also started applying those machine learning methods to getting the ads, getting the search engine more efficient, to filter the spams when we have the automated filtering of the spam messages or the emails that you receive. So Google did a lot of implementation along that line. And they were able to kind of come up with a proper model. Okay, these models can be used for giving more insight to the artificial intelligence applications. in 2010 to 2020, the deep learning got more into it. Deep learning is nothing but we are talking about the data which is getting understood. So we have machine learning, we have deep learning, and then based upon these models, we are able to understand what the data or what the interpretation of the data can be. So neural networks which was introduced decades ago, got into picture again because we said, okay, we have a lot of images available, we have a lot of data which is available. So then came with the concept of structured and non-structured data. So structured data is where we have the details of an individual or the way the person behaves in a particular way. It's like a very simple table of when you go to the store, you purchase something. So you have the customer details are saved, and then what he purchased. So every month he purchases what. So we have all the data, which is in a structured way. The unstructured way is when you buy some items like the art or any picture, we do not have that information that what exactly the picture looks like. So it's not identified by the system. So in 2011, the IBM came up with the Jeopardy, which was a competition of how the artificial intelligence and the natural language processing will work. So they won the award in that, and then they were able to kind of give the insight that because they already had the Deep Blue in their hand, and they were able to translate that into the system where it will understand the natural language. So the AlphaGo, which was DeepMind's AlphaGo, DeepMind's is another organization. So AlphaGo used the deep reinforcement learning to defeat the world champion in Go, which is a complex game that they initially thought is beyond AI's reach. So everybody started looking into the artificial intelligence. If a chess can be a game, then why not the other games can be also implemented? So we had the generative adversarial networks that enabled the AI generated content. We had BERT, which was able to understand the natural languages. So the natural languages, meaning we have the English as a common language, which gets translated into zeros and ones in a bits, and then how the structure of those language can be translated to the system, and the system then basically responds you back in a way that you understand. So it's again decryption and encryption, and encryption and decryption. So that process was still followed throughout the entire journey. In the current times, when we talk about the last 5 years, if we have to go through, we have made a substantial progress in the same artificial intelligence. We have the GPT-3, we have the GPT-4, now we have GPT-5. So it's understanding of how all the models that has been introduced. Gemini got introduced. We had DALL-E, we had Midjourney, we had Clip. All these models are basically specified whether are we able to interpret the images? Are we able to interpret the text? Can we understand the concept? So initially it was a dog that was got identified as an image. Okay, this is a dog. How do we differentiate it from a lion? What is the characteristic of lion? How does it look like? So they collected all the images or different images of different types of dogs, different types of lions, and then they try to distinguish between dog and lion just by looking at the image comparison. So again, by visual perception of a human beings, we can understand very easily, but for the machine to understand, it has to understand the every bits and pieces of the image to make sure the image is comparable and image is reflected of whether it's a dog or whether it's a lion. So there's a lot of breakthroughs happened around that model in the last 5-6 years. The similar technologies got introduced into the biological terms. Okay, now we have the patterns, uh, we have the biological proteins, which is we're talking about the DNA and the RNA, how they are structured, what their structure can, what the structure is if somebody gets infected with cancer, how the structure changes if someone has a brain tumor, how the structure get changes of the brain. So imaging, and we were trying to isolate the issues by getting into the pattern recognitions of the RNA and DNA. Now, currently what we're looking at the chat GPT and every other tools which is available in the market to use it for our daily life. So in the recent times, what we're looking at is we're looking at the applications. We're looking at the applications in healthcare, the biomedicine. Healthcare meaning we are talking about the a personalized treatment somebody has over a period of time, let's say, or his parents had a diabetic symptoms, or they have a diabetic, then it's more likely that you may have a diabetic. So they will put a check box. Okay, now this data is there for his parents. Can we use that data to understand what the child can subsequently encounter diabetic or not, and keep a track of it, and then based upon that they can recommend the medicines. So this is very personalized. If somebody is identified as a high cholesterol person, then he's more prone for a heart attack. If he's more prone for the heart attack, then what care is he being advised to him? Is he supposed to take a walk? Is he do exercise? What exercise is? And all that comes around the healthcare. The same data is used by the health insurance company. They say, okay, this person is more not he's not careful about his body, and he has a lot of illness, or he is having some issues in his body, then his insurance ideally should go up. So the health insurance company use that data to uh, custom their health insurance policies, custom their charges based upon the personalized illness or the person is having. The similar data set was introduced by the finance team, the finance people. They said, okay, let's kind of use into the banking domain. What is the fraud happening? Somebody's using their cards, how the frauds can be identified over the internet, because everybody is now well aware of the internet. We are able to understand the transactions over the internet. Again, we transact it using the encryption decryption, right? So how do we identify which one is fraud and which one is not? Similarly, there were a lot of introduction of the algorithmic trading, the credit scoring, all those operational on a day-to-day life for a finance department or financial risk that the person is into, is been utilized. In the transportation and logistics, if we talk about we already saw that there was some effort was put into the autonomous vehicles earlier. How that can be utilized in future. So when we had introduction of Tesla, they come up with collecting all the data to understand the traffic, to understand the patterns of a driver. And based upon that, they were able to understand, okay, now this person goes from point A to point B. What are the traveling durations? What is the traffic time? What is his driving duration? And on which day he faces more traffic, whether it's in the morning, evening. So all that comparison of data is available with them. And they were able to define the system that will understand what is a good time to talk, what is a good time to talk to the systems and talk to the individual and say, hey, this is the best time for you to travel. This, again, if you see the application point of view, we can see it in the Uber. Basically, again, they are using the same data sets of getting the high traffic, what is the best possible outcome for a person to travel, best route, all that. So again, supply chain systems, right? Supply chain systems where we say, okay, if we take the road route, is it going to be convenient? Is it going to be reachable on time? Whether it takes the flight, whether that particular model goes into the so Amazon had done a great job in supply chain systems where they are able to identify the box size, what is needed for a particular shipment, whether it's a cardboard, it has to go in a small package, whether it has to go in an air shipment or whether it has to go in a road shipment. So they were able to do all that identification, and they're able to profit based upon their logistics systems. Similarly, with the educational systems, in the recent times, the models in the chatbots, we can personalize ourselves what kind of aptitude we have, what type of subjects that we want, what are the target levels that we want to learn. It can customize your own learning pattern. It can customize your own schedule. It can give you the time frame, and it can follow up with you. In the manufacturing industries, the artificial intelligence and the robotics got introduced to the level that we are minimizing the manual labor. I remember when in few decades back, when I did my internship at Ashok Leyland back in India, the engine installment, the installation of engine used to be done at least by 10 to 15 people at one point in time for every truck. So it was a lot of manual efforts. There's a lot of combinations, a lot of people involved to make sure it is stable, it is placed properly, everything is tight. But now with the robotics, and just one person who is just looking at it and ensuring that it is handled and installed properly, that's it. So we are able to come up to a place where we are taking care of the most of the manual labor by introducing the robotics within the framework. In the current trends, I would like to talk upon the ChatGPT 5 or the 4. We had DAL-E, we had Midjourney, we had Gemini, and they started creating the contents around the images, text, audios, the age AI, the democratization of data. So in the recent times, if you look at the healthcare industries where the subscriber and the provider is, let's say you go to a hospital, a doctor, and then you change your one doctor to another doctor, then you basically go to another doctor and you get a form so that the other doctor can release that data to the new doctor. So your history is not available with the new doctor because the data is only located with the first person, with the first doctor. So now with the democratization of the data, all your historical data is released from one hospital to another doctor, one hospital to another hospital, and that doctor can look at. So some of the applications like MyChart can allow the doctors to look into your historical information overall. So it doesn't matter whether you are today in New York or tomorrow you're in California, a doctor can access your data irrespective of who your provider is. We also introduced into the no-code tools, and it helped to evolve further the AI applications. However, the responsible and explainable AI, the focus here, everybody was trying to be a little skeptical around this because we were looking at the data, we were talking about the privacy policies, we were talking about the personal information with particular healthcare system to another healthcare system. It is translated over the internet, and if somebody breaks into it, my personal information is shared to everybody. So to avoid that, they make sure that we have a correct security system inbuilt and the data is safe as long as it is translated within that particular system. So there were a lot of issues earlier. They were able to find that. There were a lot of companies got sued because of that. But over a period of time, people have come up with a lot of the importance of ethical systems that they have to built in when they consider any application to build in around the artificial intelligence. So when you do a chart, or when you talk to somebody, or when you go online, you have an option to talk to the customer service online, and you send a message about yourself, right? You type in your details, and this system is able to understand it, but it has to be a one-to-one connection. So there has to be a secure connection which has happened between your system and to the other system where you're talking to, and nobody should intercept, or nobody should be able to get in between of the connection. So it has to be more secure connection so that you are confident of giving out your information or giving out your data. So those are the ethical considerations are involved when we define the system. So I would like to conclude with the last one, which is the introduction of the different tools and the applications that are available in the market. Perplexity AI is one of them, which is a very good tool to use for to understand how the research is done. They are, as of now, into the textual references. I haven't explored the paid version of it. Gemini is pretty much, we can use it in the Google, and if you want to subscribe, you can use it. They can make everything. The slides, ChatGPT is good to use. I'll show the demo of ChatGPT Pro version as well as the Perplexity. GitHub Copilot is again Microsoft, which is come up with the supporting the GitHub, that your code is up to the standard or not before it gets into the production system. So that is that. We have the Canva Magic Studio, which kind of gives you the different flavors, how the presentations can be structured. So these are the new tools that we are looking at today, but I wanted to give the gist of it over a period of time, over the centuries, what happened and where we are coming up from. So from Enigma, which is in 1940s, used for World War II until today. What is the current flow and what is the current status of the artificial intelligence within that framework? Here is a picture of Professor Dr. Hinton. He's been awarded Nobel Prize recently for being the father of AI. And in one of his interview, he was a little skeptical about the security, what is the limit of control that has been given, what should be given to the systems or the machines that we're going to utilize. Um, if I want to say that, we had everybody are aware that we have something called as a Roomba or uh, a vacuum cleaner at home, right? So irrespective of you telling, the company has the data of your house, which is where and which is what is kept. I mean, it identifies the obstacle, it identifies where is what, it can identifies the dimensions, and that has been shared with the company. So it's a simple form of the artificial intelligence that one can see at home. I would like to conclude here. Please go ahead with the questions if you have any.
Sure. Thank you, Rajwade sir. It was fantastic. And I think this is a real relevant topic like in today's world. So thanks for covering it. I truly enjoyed. For members, if you have any questions, please raise your hand. Uh, Unmute yourself and you can ask question. If you want to put your question in the chat window, feel free to type and I will ask that question. So meanwhile, like when people think, it's really good topic, Mahendra. Like I know that last century, like 1900, when the First World War, Second World War happened, a lot of research happens. I'm aware about the aviation, like planes and guns and other stuff, or transportation or mapping system. But AI point, I never give that much impact. Like I never think on that side. So it's really good. Like this AI is doing research from long because I was in the impression like it's from 1980 onward or 1990 onward, but I can see that from your presentation, these things are going from long, like 1940 or before that. So yeah,
Yeah,
it is like enlightening for me. It's really great. And I can see a lot of like input. I can see that when finance come into the picture, like businesses come into picture, AI get more momentum. Like when in insurance industry, banking industry start putting money and using those tools for their growth, I can see the momentum is like phenomenal. Like I don't see that type of momentum before 2000. But now I can see the AI is everywhere, whether it's a banking domain, finance domain, car industry, call center industry, and not there's not a single industry which is untouched with AI now. So
absolutely.
yeah, and I can see that it giving a lot of values for the business to providing like a personalized system, like the way you cover that one, like health industry where you say like you can be personalized life insurance or personalized your auto insurance. So I know they are doing more micromanagement, gave more customized suit to the customer, and it will be really helpful. So I think that's really phenomenal. Like it's really like a value added service. uh Anyone having questions, please raise your hand. Okay, I don't see. So I have one questions, Mahendra. Like I know you have
Sure.
a good insight on this. So I can see like it's okay. Mr. Jain Gavande has raised his hand. So Mr. Jain Gavande, please go ahead and ask a question. Can you unmute yourself or?
Yeah, sure. Hey, hi, Pawan here. So, what
Hey,
are
Pawan.
agents? Maybe if you get a minute or two, you can talk on that one. I was
Sure.
trying to understand that part. Yeah.
So agent is a human being. Okay, let's go back to 15, 20 years back. If you remember, we in India we had a lot of call center industry, right? So you have a phone issue, or even today, if you have a phone issue or if you have a bank issue, you call up a number, a dedicated number, and who is the first person you talk to is a customer service. Now, today, if you call, you don't have a human being there, right? So there's a lot of innovation has happened along the way. What exactly you want me to discuss about the agent. So you are talking about the agentic AI, or you're talking about the agent itself?
Yeah, it's like a AI agent. So
Okay.
when I was watching
Yeah.
some interview, they are like, future is like everyone is going to be on AI agent.
Right. So
Yeah.
agent AI is a separate built-up system, which so there's a lot of data which has been accumulated over a period of time, because every time a customer calls, the customer call center is open for 24 hours a day. There are millions of customers talking to the system, giving the same answers repetitively, right? Their problem could be very simple to identify what is a credit balance, or what is a bank balance, or what is due, what is my due date, when should I pay? Very simple queries. Do we need a human interaction for that? No, we don't need it. Why? Because over a period of time, system can understand your voice and say, hey, okay, this person is Mr. Gawande is calling. If you enter your card details, I can identify you in the system. Okay, and I can pronounce you what is the current balance on your system. Very simple application, very simple application. It can deep dive into further level if you want to, right? So agentic AI is nothing but replacing the agent and giving the information of yours for the system to understand it, that you are the same person, and your questions could be probability like this. So if you talk to today, if you talk to Amazon, it can understand whether you're calling about your previous orders. You give the order numbers. It can tell you whether this is shipped, whether this is not shipped, what else you want, right? So we are to the extent that this particular agent who is supposed to talking to you and giving you the information is not there. It's the system giving you a direct one-on-one communication, and that is more focused upon that. So the customer experience has moved from talking to a human being to the system directly. What is the benefit?
Yeah.
We don't have a delay in time lag. So if you want to talk to a human being, you can stay on the call for 20 minutes or 25 minutes. Rather, you just, if it is a simple thing, you just solve it over the conversation. So you don't have to wait for 20 minutes. So your time is saved, company's money is saved.
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, like agent AI, like my understanding, like you're creating a automated function to, instead of human is coming into picture, that your program is taking care to answer the question. For example, nowadays interview also happening with agent AI, like you get the interview calls and you are answering the questions. So like last time when I was giving interview, I'm giving answer to the machine only. Like that agent AI opening the team meetings and he asking, thank you for joining. He already have my resume. They're asking question based on that and the job description. And whatever I'm answering based on that, he again say, oh, thank you. You have good knowledge on so and so topic. Now let's go on to this topic. And then it's calculating my feedbacks. And also agent AI is my understanding everywhere. Like even when you're calling the way Mahendra cover, like when calling banks, a bank also taking your feedback, and then agent AI take asking respective questions and then answering your questions. So that way, it's just like more like Azure functions. If you working on Azure functions, we have certain trigger to ask certain questions and work on that. So yeah, that's a good question. I can see one more hands raised by Mr. Rameshwar. Go ahead, unmute yourself and ask your question, sir.
Hey, Manish, I would like to add the agent role nowadays. Yeah. So, for example, in corporate world, you are getting number of email every day. So you create agent, and then it's always a draft for you, like a reply for you, and
Yeah.
you can just review, make changes, and then send that. So it's not just like a call agent, but there are many what you can say automation is happening. Even like
Absolutely.
running plants. Running plants. Like you are producing hydrogen, right? So the agents are helping operators to direct them or perform task behalf of like operator.
True. Very much, very well said, Ramesh, on that. Uh, the applications depends upon the industry. Even the electrical grids, right? We have the automated electric grids where we are going. How much power is needed in the nighttime? What grids to be opened? What is your fallback? applications are everywhere. You think of industry and it is there. So no industry is untouched as of today. So you think of any applications, you think of any industry, and you think about the automation process. Yes, it is there. As long as the company policies allows you to integrate it with the, I mean, again, I'm sure what the email response is customized. Again, that is supposed to be the agent has to be within the system and should not be exposed to the outside world, right? Because it comes with the company policies that
Oh,
we
yeah,
are
of
not
course.
talking and
Of
giving
course,
the
yes.
information to the outside world.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I can see one more hand raised by Mr. Siddharth. Sir, Ramesh, your question there? Like any further question? Or you can take your hand down. Yeah, Mr. Siddharth, yeah, you can go ahead and ask your question. Thank you.
Yeah, Manish, thank you. Jai Bhim Namo Buddhaya. Thanks, Mahendra. Sir, this is not a question, just a little bit about me. Like, I'm into sustainability and ESG domain. I'm working as a business analyst with respect to functional and reporting part. So we recently, I was working on some product development, and our mission was to integrate the KPIs with some of the global frameworks or compliances. So we worked for that, but sometimes I get too confused that there is no proper ingredient how to become an AI agentic product manager or product owner. So can you please little bit help us giving suggestions on the ingredients, because so many people, there is so much chaos agentic AI, but I think little people have the greatest clarity how to understand the final word agentic AI. If I wanted to build an application, what should I know, what should I understand? So if you can guide us little bit, these things, these courses to go ahead with.
Uh, I haven't worked as a product manager um, for the agentic AI specifically, but I can tell you based upon my experience,
Mhm,
just to understand, you would like to know whether the product manager, how to become a product manager in AI. Is
mhm.
that the question?
Yeah, we can intersect this like that.
Okay. So first of all, as I mentioned, we should understand where we are coming from, what our background is,
Mhm,
what the
mhm,
data sets are, what are the deep learning processes are,
mhm,
how the data is structured, unstructured data, what is the context of using that particular agent, what is the business value, or what is the return of investment on that particular agent is going to provide you.
mhm,
Are you exposing to everybody? Are you exposing it with your own customers, or are you exposing it to globally? So we probably we have to have a little bit of more in-depth discussion with the architect team to see whether the application that you're thinking of as a product, or what you're introducing as a product to the organization, is giving you that kind of a return of investment, or it is going to be helpful in future. So probably
mhm,
that is kind of a base role that we should identify. Every organization, I would recommend, like if you go to NVIDIA's website, if you go to Google website, if you go to Microsoft website, everybody has their own learning modules
mhm,
in the respective product culture. So if you refer to Coursera, if you refer to any other learning tools, they have their own modules for how the ecosystem within those individual companies are structured. So if you can
mhm,
identify that, you can learn more about it, and then based upon your targeted company, probably think over and that's probably learning way. But I could also show you something. Let me see. I wanted to show you. Let me see. I can show you this. Let me reshare my screen. So this is the pro version of ChatGPT that I'm currently using. You could explore multiple here. So if you explore whatever you want to do, right? You have the writings, you want to do the productivity tools, you have the research analysis. So anything that you want to go ahead with, you can implement. So these are the add-ons which is available. Okay, we have the DALI here. If you want to do a small programming, anything you think of, it's there. And these are the add-ons that is available for you to use in the ChatGPT as such. Um, you can create a framework for for yourself. Okay, you can create whether you want to add a file, photos, you want to do deep research on any topic, you can use the agent mode here. Okay, it can create an agent mode, the experience that you think, okay, uh, you are a prober here. You basically you probe the system and try to find out how deep it can go. So you have your study and learn pattern. So you create your own framework. How, let's say I want to learn a new topic. How do I do it? Right? I create my study pattern. I create my own structure. What topics I should learn first? What topic I should learn later? It will recommend you. It will say, okay, I'm only available 1 hour a day or 5 hours a week. It will structure your timetable for you. So there's a lot of things which are available online, which are available in the tools. The other tool that I wanted to share with you is a Perplexity. Perplexity is another very good tool. They have come up with their own browser. It is now more secure with the recent update. You can ask anything like how to be uh, AI product manager. Okay, just for simplicity. It will search online all the resources people have posted, all the all the information. It will say, okay, these are the videos, they are there. You could see, okay, this is the pathway that you should go with, and you can learn the skills along the way. Okay, so just wanted to give you the gist of it to people to understand. Okay, no, we are, see, he's asking me, do you want a 90 days roadmap? You want a 30 days roadmap?
Yeah.
Right? So it creates, based upon the experience, based upon the relevant data people have used in Reddit or shared, whatever it is. It will say, okay, what's your availability? Tell me, I'll tell you. I'll structure it for you. It's more like an agent. You're giving an information of yours. You share your resume, it is going to give you the structured way where you're applying. It's going to structure. You have the job responsibilities, you have your resume, you say update my resume with these responsibilities, it will give you the updated resume for you. So you're saving your hours there, right? You're not sitting there and typing one line every, okay, let me think, then I type this, then it's gonna do it for you. You can obviously go back and validate again, but yeah, it can give you the raw structure to it.
Sure. Thank you, Mahendra.
Yeah.
Any other question? I don't see any raised hand or nothing in the chat window. So Mahendra, I have one more quick question.
Sure.
I think this is regarding job only. So now see, like AI, now definitely it's helping a business to grow faster, giving customized solutions. But at the other side, if you see, because of this AI, a lot of job loss is also happening. Like Amazon is saying, uh, every company, Microsoft, more, to Facebook is saying similar thing. So, and the way you give an old example, like humans are putting machine, the engine in the car, and now robotic is taking care of it. And I can see a lot of things going on the same path. Like company want to save money, they will do more automation definitely. Whether it's automating on call center jobs, automating banking job, or any other job, or even program IT industry, more and more codings are happening with the help of this type of tools, Copilot tool. And those companies also giving the signal that we are reducing the manpower because they don't manpower or the workforce, I can say. They don't want more workforce in future, maybe 50%. And some article where I'm reading, like maybe the future programming job will be more like a single job, like more contracting job than a full-time job, maybe after 10 years or 5 years, that type of article. More data science will be the next industry, but more of a coding job is going maybe more seasonal job, where more like a contract jobs, especially in USA. So, what do you think about it? Like how these things will, handle the situation, like job market and all? Because when we are going more and more on the AI side, do you have any insight on that? Like how it will be get impacted, or how will be the future in next 15 years, whether it's IT industry or job
15 years
industry?
is a very long time to see. Again, we're not very sure because right now nobody's talking about AI. Everybody's kind of on a hold. Everybody's afraid what what is the limitation? Where do we set the limitation for the machine to stop
Hmm.
learn, right?
Hmm.
Because we can tell them to learn, but then where do we stop? Is boundary, right? So then that boundary is set by the companies, and they're still not able to come up with any kind of a solid justification of the boundaries. That is where the ethical way of AI is getting into the picture, that what information has to be shared, what information not to be shared, what information is cross-communicated. So let's say I'm talking about a humanoid robot, right? Now, we're talking about humanoid robot where he can function as an maid for you to come up to your home and uh, do the drying, do the laundry, right?
Hmm.
Or in the automation world, if you say Tesla is driving on its own,
Hmm.
but with that, what are the failure chances? Do you want the failure chances has to be 0.00001? That means 1 in 10,000 is getting killed. Who would want to that, right?
Yeah.
So that is a limitation. So currently the industry is determining where, based upon my understanding, current industry is determining that that is a limitation of system to learn and stop. I do not have any insight on what happens in next 15 years with respect to the job market. Again, it's pretty skeptical right now. Everything is moving into the automation mode. Yes, we are a lot of restructuring happening. Yes, it is happening. Um, so people are now more trying to be more self-reliant, and we don't know whether we will have more applications coming up. I don't know. One of the one of
That-
the one of the podcast with Elon, he said in 15 years nobody needs to work. Government will give them money, and
Oh yeah, that
everybody
is a very interesting point where I heard that he's saying job
will.
will be just for hobby purpose. People no need to work for money. People
Yeah,
need to work for their hobbies.
yeah,
That sounds interesting, but sounds scary too. Like when there's no job, that means no
right,
money, and when no
right.
money, how can
What,
like
how,
a whole ecosystem?
what will you do? What will people will do with their time?
Yeah, what they will do the time? And what about the other industries? Like for example, a person, IT guy working hard to get big, more investment in property, the expensive house, expensive car. If they don't have job, this whole ecosystem will get collapsed, right? Because if person don't have
Correct.
job, other things will be collapsed. So I don't know, like
We don't know as
definitely
of now
for
because
business.
again, it is like you, if you have the robots, then somebody has to program the robots. Somebody has to control the robots. Somebody has to monitor it. Somebody has to make
Yeah.
sure the softwares are upgraded, right?
Yeah. But they will
Somebody
put
has
again
to
machine on
repair
top
it.
of machine, right?
Yeah.
They
So
put machine top of machine and then top of machine and then one person. Like nowadays, code deployment happening where we need a human who's
yeah,
deploying the code in this different environment. Now we have what you call CI/CD pipeline in IT industry.
right.
They call continuous integration, continuous deployment. A lot of release management team job is out of like they don't have job. A lot of online testing happening with those tools. A lot of
Correct.
testers are going out of business. So I don't know like how things will be, but it is interesting topic. Like wait and watch.
Sure.
I don't see any other
Uh,
question.
Manish
Mahendra, yeah.
would like to add a little bit. I think yeah, it is little bit chaos. What will be happening because everything is changing very randomly. But what do I think, as per my understanding, I think risk mitigation is one of the key future. Why? Because everyone is trying to build whether it's agentic AI, robotics, automation, but I
Was
think it still do not have their psychological aspects. Whether, for example, let's say we have developed a tool or robot that can fire anywhere. Uh, that psychology we have to decide whether it is ethical, whether we have to do it or not. I think that risk mitigation part is something to be explored now. Everybody is making the things products, but less are very serious about what is the impact, whether it's positive, negative, or something else. So I
Yep.
think yeah, these are the things. Um,
I'm agree with you, but the
um,
thing, my point, like I'm coming from the point where finance come into picture. When business, I'm a business owner. I want more profit, right? Less worker, more profit. I'm a worker, I will say don't do AI. So there is a war between no worker and then business or employer. So like employer want more profit, he want less worker, right? I have a call center, I don't want more people. So every industry think that way. So that is the point. So who will
and
decide that?
yeah, yeah.
That is the discussion.
Correct. And one more thing, because it is already, we already have extended, I think it is more than we were expected. But as I am working and have done with some use cases of oil and gas, so I think use of AI is also creating some more opportunities too.
Yes,
It is
yes, I'm
my
agree on it. I'm
understanding.
agree on
It
it
is my
because
understanding.
some different field again.
Because if AI can, if some model can predict the oil leakage is going into this pattern, so of course there is some more team will be deployed to manage that thing or
Yes,
go
yes.
and strategize these things. So, but I don't know what is the probability,
No,
how
you're
much
right
it
on
is going
that
to
because
create.
see, that is what the industry happen, right? Like we introduce something, then we get bug, then we fix it, then better product come, then we do something different thing, then bugs come, then we fix it. Just like we started car, we don't have maybe indicator maybe when maybe 100 years back, we have indicator now. Now we have automatic car. So now like Tesla is driverless cars. So now there's some new risk coming where how to identify things. They will mitigate that and the next thing. So yeah, that is the contribution of like like technology help human life easy. Like what the operation in surgical things happening as a by doctor 100 years back on what is happening now is totally different. But the technology definitely
Yeah.
make human life easy. Uh, so definitely technology will help in future too. But when we are talking about the job perspective, things will be different. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, I think
This is a long topic. So yeah.
some
Yeah.
some monetary and financial system might evolve after
Yes.
some time. I
Yeah.
think.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I will not take more time. I can
Yeah,
see
sure, sure,
one,
sure.
two more
Yes,
questions.
yes.
Sorry, Siddharth. Yeah, but I don't want to cut you, but sorry for I just
No, no,
want
no, no,
to
no, no. Absolutely,
respect time.
absolutely fine.
Hand is
Yeah.
Mr. Wasnik, and I can see one question by Mr. Aruna Masurkar in chat. So let me take first question from Miss Aruna Masurkar.
Yeah, I
Mahesh,
can
do you
read
want
the
to go ahead first?
question.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you very much. That's a very good question, Arunaji. It's the question is whether the AI is going to be helpful for us and it is going to be detrimental for our human emotions and psychologically it's going to impacting us or not. Yes, it is going to be a little worrisome for everybody because we're looking at everything in automated mode and less of human interactions, less of exposure to the social structure because everything is getting handled by robots. Everything is handled by a non-human being, and we don't have anybody to talk to, right? So I remember some of the times that there were some stories which were circling around where um, single old parents or single old ladies or gents, they don't have anybody to talk to, right? Their family is away from them, and then they just call to the call center to talk to someone. I just want to talk to you. I just want to talk to a human person, right? So it's a little worrisome where everything is handled by a machine and you're not talking to a human being. So yes, it is little detrimental towards the emotions.
Yeah, you
Uh,
know why I asked you? Because now they're going to make a same AI is going to make equipment where the people they will detect their own health issues and everything, and I think it will give the answers. You do this and do that, eat this. So this way, if my son will say, okay, you buy this equipment and you do by yourself, you go to the appointment, you do yourself. So those जो connection होता है ना family के बीच में वो खत्म हो जाएगा. You know
yes,
what I mean?
you're right. You're right, and that is what the worrisome picture is again. Because of this, there is a population issue that has been discussed, that we are slower on a population increase. Uh, we don't have a social structure where people have less people are now gathering less. They have to wait. They have to wait for the event to occur. If you remember back in India, every month we will have some celebration. Every month, every alternate week, we will go to somebody's house to celebrate something, birthdays, marriage, this and that, right? And we have enough people to go and talk to in that setting. But in here, if you say everybody's kind of isolated in their home, different locations, less population, so very few occasions to come and talk in person. So yes, it is a worry thing. We don't know how it's gonna come out in future. Uh, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and Miss Aruna raised a very good question. Like, because I hear some scary stories also where people are taking some drastic steps when they are talking to this machine, and machine suggesting some wrong things, and they are going in the wrong direction. So yeah, means using machine, like, yeah, we need as a human, like we are the, like we always need to think that we need human help, but before totally relying on the machine, because those are still revolving phases, so we can't 100% rely on it. But yeah, so we have to be very mindful, especially like a young kids who are more on the laptop or tabs, on both of the phone. They need, yeah, they need some type of support. As a parent, like I will say, we need to keep eyes on them too, like how they're using this type of new tools.
So that actually actually brought out another point of having biases. This bias term actually got introduced when they were designing the perceptron. So when in 1960s, when they started working on those decrypting the data, um, the the system perceptron considered the bias. Like when you say like welcome, right? Or say um, any greeting you say, right? So if a W is there, that W is not going to be repeated because it is decrypted in somewhere, which means it is not W. So there is something else which is instead of W. So then, and if it is repeated again at some point in time, then that W means different than this first W. So there is a bias that has been inserted when they decrypted the message. So what happens with the bias is it tries to create a hallucination for you, whether this is there or that is there. And it tries to create a perception as a different personality to you. And it is it is a part of the artificial intelligence that they are trying to minimize that hallucination right now. And yes, there is some work going on in that space, but we've got to be more careful about that understanding and um, perceive or absorb that information which is given to you, not as 100% correct, but
Yes.
what they say is accept it with a pinch of salt. So accept with a pinch of salt and then absorb it.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you, Mahendra. I don't see any other questions, not in chat, not like I don't see any hand raised. So I would like to conclude here. Thank you, Mahendra. That is really a good talk and
Sure.
very interesting
Manish,
topic.
if you don't mind, I would like to announce something.
Yeah, I'm coming there, Dada. I'm
Okay,
just coming there.
okay.
Let me wrap up this part and then, yeah. So thanks, Mahendra. Thanks for your fantastic talk, and this is really helpful. So we finish case talk today. So before
Thank you
at
so
the
much.
end of session, I would like to check. Do any announcements, Mahendra, Mahesh Dada, or do anything?
Yes, the quick announcement. As you know, the online Vihara is running since 2011, and it's been a long journey for all of us. Many the member who was the host of that Vihara now presenting to the Vihara, and also looking forward all of you to come forward and volunteer your time, because only 2-3 families cannot do this activity every week, because they also have their own stuff and other things. So I would like the members who are 20 members from here, and I posted on the chat box. There are a couple months are free: January, February, March, and anyone from anywhere they can host the Vihara. It doesn't have to be anywhere. The people from India also hosted Vihara a couple of times. So please come forward. Otherwise, we'll also give you a call to host the Vihara, because it is everyone's responsibility to come forward and volunteer. That's what our mission will move forward, because we don't want only some family can run this Vihara. So please come forward. Otherwise, we'll reach out to you, all the participants who are on the call. Please raise your hand or text me which month you want to host. I will put my number there. Okay. Thank you.
Sure, thank you, my Dada. And I think, yeah, this is good point. And even like students, this is a very good platform to, develop your confidence, understand the things, how to run the meeting. So if new students or kids, teenage, they are also interested, reach out to Mahesh Dada. That will be great help. I can see Mr. Vijay iPhone. I can see one chat in the chat window by Mr. Vijay. Let me read that. I'm just curious to understand, will it be a tool used by some handful of people controlling the emotions of majority people? Vijay is the question? Is the question from Mr. Mahendra? Sorry,
Yeah, this is a question for Mahendra. I'm just curious. This is Vijay Bagde.
Okay.
Thank you, Mahendra, for sharing this AI tool.
Sure.
So I see there is a pros and cons in this technology. And this technology reach out is to only few handful of people. And if I talk about our community, this will be our community who only 1 or 2% people have come out of our community and have reached out to this type of technology. So where is our stake in this growing AI tool, and who will be controlling the majority of the people emotions? How can we interface the society to this technological development?
That's a very good question, Bagre sir, Jevim. This is again going back to the person who is profit making out of this and how he wants to manipulate the data, right? If you look at, based upon again my understanding, okay, if we go back to the history where Meta initially was, or the Facebook initially was invented for communicating and connecting to the friends, today they are inventing, they are marketing a product, a glasses, Meta glasses, which will, when you look at the object, it is going to tell you what is that person's identities and more about that individual, right? So we have shared our data to the companies, and it is up to them now how to use it. So it's It's where you want to put a limit to yourself and where you want to use it for. It is up to you, but the companies have their own interest. Again, their interest is more on the monetary side. And that is where the boundaries of ethical use of AI, right? You don't wear your spec and then you just go and check everybody who is doing what, right? So that is the boundary that we have to kind of limit, and the companies are working on it. I'm not sure how and up to what level they will be exploring or exploiting the data. That is, again, depends upon the company's own policies.
Yeah, I think just like to add on this one, like a more government and then business company, they need to come up with what up to what level they
Yeah,
have.
just
Yeah.
to add on this, let
Yes.
us talk. Let's see this classical example of this recent past elections, how they are molded by the AI type things and generating the perceptions through that tool, and the masses' voices are not heard. Only few people who has the control on it, they are controlling this electoral process, be it India or be it in US or everywhere now.
Yeah, agreed. It's pretty much possible, and it is. I mean, we cannot announce it. We could see it. There is a perception creation before the visit of a leader in that area. So perception is created earlier, and then they visit the area stating the same. It brings in the confidence of the mindset of the person. Oh, he's talking the same language, what I'm expecting.
And that's how the late election in New York mayor election, that Mamdani has used a different tool, human contact, direct human contact with the electoral voters, and he broke down that AI tool successfully.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
possibly. I do not have a report of what exactly happened.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right on. We just said like look, Facebook or those type of they're figuring out the human mind, like what topic are more interested, providing that type of details so the politician can use those input to praise their voters. But yeah, that is what the AI and machine learning that I'm saying, like these things are touching all the industries, whether it's a banking, like finance industry, banking industry, aviation, politicians, student, everyone is getting impacted. That's why we call it like a revolution. I think we are
Yeah.
ready for the next level revolution, like the industrial revolution finished now, AI revolution is there, and see, not a single person will be untouched with this. Definitely, every sector, everything will be get impacted, and just hope for the best. And that's it. We just said, do you have any follow-up question because we are just running out of time, so just want to make sure we are addressing everything.
No, that's it. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you, everyone,
Thanks.
again. Thank you, Mahendra, to answer the question. So now we reach at the end of the session. So it is time to conclude our online Buddha Vihara. I want to thank you, Bante Sariputta Thero, for blessing us and his Dhamma talk. Thank you, Kids Motivational Story Reader, Saint Gavande and Kanti Thai for conducting Kids session. And many thanks to guest speaker, Mr. Mahendra Rajwade, for this topic. And thank you all participants who joined today and plan to join next week to Online Vihara. With this, we conclude today's Online Vihara. Thank you. Namo Buddha and Jai Bhim. Take care. Bye.
Yeah.